That looks like the end of the table of contentus.
Yeah.
The table of discontent.
Yeah, very much discontent. Oh, yeah. You can tell by my side notes how discontent I was at certain points reading.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now, oh, okay, so the full name of this is Mandate for Leadership 2025, The Conservative Promise.
Right.
I don't ever believe anything those people promise anybody.
Mm-mm.
And B, I don't like what they're promising. It
Mm-mm.
sounds more like a threat than a promise.
You know, that schoolyard thing, is that a threat or a promise? Yes.
Uh huh. Not or, and.
We'll have cross purposes there.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to 1D10T Does Stuff. Oh no, wait. This is a different stream. This is Saturday, not Tuesday. Welcome to Saturday evenings posted mostly presents General Chaos 12 with our ASOC prod and friend Kat. And of course, it feels like a Tuesday because we're going to be discussing Project 2025, which feels like a frickin' Tuesday of a subject. Um,
Yeah.
okay. So, first off, there we go. You, the viewer, will be able to follow along here as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but before we dive into all of that stuff,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
today's pre rolls are brought to you by The Hidden Leaf, Charlottesville, Virginia, 105 West Main Street, above the bricks, Suite 200, between 10,000 Villages and Hamilton's. The Hidden Leaf, where the only thing better than their bud is their customer service. I went to one of their Friday pop ups yesterday for a few minutes
Nice.
with with the with Kelly and Dan, and they don't know the people in the store like I do. They don't know the Hidden Leaf crew like I do.
Mm-hmm.
But Dan has done the pop up several times, so he knows the pop up people better than I do. Except for
Nice.
like one guy who he was going specifically to check out.
And was
Turns
he
out,
there?
oh no, dude was there. Turns out that I hang out with dude at the bar at the Hidden Leaf Smoke Lounge, and he knew me by name, and yeah, I, you know, I would feel bad for Dan having to sort of walk into a community that is already mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's dating my ex-wife. Like, he's in my world now. But the thing is Dan's such a nice guy, such a great guy that like everybody in my world is nice to him. Everybody in my world likes him. So, welcome to my world, guy. Great
That's
to
a good
have
thing.
ya. You know? It
Yeah.
was he's always fun to hang out with. He's always a great guy. A lot of fun. Like the guy. Um, yeah. So that was quite a pleasant thing.
Good. Very good.
At some point, I don't know. Have you met Dan and Kelly yet?
I I do not believe so. I believe we were you had set up something where we could meet and then plans ended up changing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Uh
You'll. I think you'll like Dan. I think you'll like Dan. He's. I'm sure you'll like Kelly. You know, they're both really smart. They're both really fun. Dan and I have very, very, very different politics, but he is such a. He's gracious. He's such a gracious person that he has room for that in his world. And because he has room for me in his world, I have room for him in mine.
good. That's kind of how it really should be.
Yeah, yeah. You know, he certainly doesn't think that the laws should be oppressive or damaging to someone like me. He's, when it comes down to individuals, when it comes down to that, he gets it. So, I'm not I'm not afraid of him like I am most white men of a certain political leaning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, which is nice. I'm glad I'm not afraid of him because that would make it really uncomfortable to hang out with them.
I really truly understand that one.
Yep. All right. So we have kibitzed. Let's get into this. Now, first off, I would like to say that, I've been aware of Project 2025 since it's, I don't want to say since it's publishing, but pretty much since Biden took office. I've been aware of Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I have I've watched some videos on it. It was a while ago. Do I remember a lot of what they said? Probably not, but they were good videos. Um, Legia Miller on YouTube is a really good resource for this sort of thing. And this is going to be several episodes of this. So
Yeah.
before next episode, I'm probably going to go back and watch the Legia Miller stuff about Project 2025, and I will try to watch some other stuff and compile a list of video resources for us as well.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna wait till we finish this and then go watch what other people have to say and see how much the
yeah,
conclusions I draw
are the same or
are
different.
the same or different, or see if there's something there that I'm seeing that they're not, or vice versa.
Understood. Understood. Now, I will say that, to my understanding, this Project 2025 Handbook Manifesto, they actually call it a mandate.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Um, to my understanding, it is an effective uh, sort of plan for how the extreme conservative and religious right, could reshape our government to work for them if they are to win this next election. And it's this sort of like this idea of between the election and and the end of 2025, what are the things they need to do and put in place in order to essentially do away with our what is our current model of democracy and in and impose a preferable model of governance for them.
Mm.
Um, Now, I have a hard time reading this because I get so angry. Um, and part of why I get so angry reading it is because I know it's probably pretty right. It's I have to imagine that the steps every time I look at it, any of the steps I see it outlining, it's like, yeah, that'll work. Ya jerk. You know,
It's
it
for me. It's there's reasonable things that can be accomplished. There are reasonable things that are stated,
right.
but they're using the reasonableness to as gift wrapping over the nastiness at its core, and I really hate that.
And that nastiness, you know, that let us dwell on that nastiness for a moment. That nastiness would make it illegal for me to express myself. It would criminalize most of my forms of self expression. Uh, Let me clarify that. It would criminalize any form of self expression that is vaguely feminine of mine. And because I'm, you know, all, uh, that would be, expressing that would be considered brooming spelled with a G.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it is, and and worse. It's like I have this one, my mind hits this one thing that applies to me and I'm like, well, F that and F them, but I also see how Project 2025 would make women's health in
Oh,
right
it
and
screws with women's health. It screws with all sorts of the things that have been put in place to help, not just with um, equality for equality between men and women, but also equality across pretty much every other spectrum that we take into account.
right. It would find a way to criminalize baby Z before he became any form of an adult. Uh,
Yes,
it would it would very quickly strip Jen from my life and strip
yes.
me from any possessions or holdings I have. Um, it would very quickly. Hmm, yeah, you know.
Um,
Oh, I know what else I'm. I know what else it would do. Uh, it would probably criminalize my religion, or if not criminalize it, uh it would allow doctors and other professions to not serve me because I'm a pagan, essentially sentencing me to death. And
Good,
if
because
I
there is a
don't,
religion other than the one that they recognize.
well, ones. Remember, they recognize several. But they would see me as Jewish enough to want to deport me back to Israel so that
Yes.
they can get their holy war.
Hmm.
The intersectionality, that intersection at which I live, while not putting me in the most danger, uh, if Project 2025 comes to pass, it puts me in a lot of danger.
Yeah. The other thing is the goal is to do this, admittedly, this election.
Yep.
But they also lay out that they also specifically state that they want this to go into effect with the next conservative president. So they
Yes.
may not get their chance now, but they are trying to set it up and force it so that the very next time they get the chance, they can move on it. And
Yes. However, I have hope that by the time they get another conservative president, the landscape of uh, of public opinion will have shifted enough.
yeah.
You know, they're getting those the people who would really be on Project 2025, the people who really support it, other than a few disgusting Gen Xers
Mhm.
and very misled millennials.
Mhm.
It's mostly boomers.
Yeah.
And they can't live forever, you know.
No.
I really don't think that our next conservative president is going to be a boomer. I really
I
don't
mean,
think
in
that.
all honesty, they really shouldn't.
I'd like to say I hope our next progressive president isn't a boomer. And,
Mm,
considering that I don't consider Biden to be progressive, I guess he won't be.
right.
But it would be nice if our next president weren't a boomer.
Yes.
I'm I will vote Biden. I will hold my nose and do it. But I am beginning to agree with the groundswell of opinion that it's time for Biden to bow out of the race and let someone else come in.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know who that is, but Kamala Harris, if he bows out and lets Kamala steps in, she gets his war chest, she gets his delegates, you know.
Mhm.
I really yeah, I don't think he's as daft or as doddering as he looks right now, but like I don't think that oh, thank you for the sub lockpick. Much love, much love. I don't think that I don't think he's up to it for the next 4 years. I barely think I think he's barely up to it through the election. I just you know our country finds it very hard to shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, like as W put it and won an election on. Don't switch horses midstream.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, we're in a war, not a river, for one. But also, that just displays America's inability to overcome momentum. And we are in ad break.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. We're gonna start doing this. It was written in 2023. Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna start here. Okay. RTFO lockpick. Never switch pots in the middle of a brew. I disagree. I disagree. They have taught me how to do that. Being
I know how to do
working,
that.
huh?
So I know how to do that.
Right. Working at convenience stores and gas stations as long as I did. I learned how to do the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
switch pots mid brew. Now, granted, it does not make for the best tasting coffee, but honestly, if you're buying your coffee from I wish mine
Mm-hmm.
had a valve. Off. Deedly. Ha ha!
We need to
Oh, you
get
mean
you
your.
a sponsorship with Ninja.
Pardon me. What?
So we need to get you a sponsorship with Ninja so that you can product test their coffee pot because they've got an awesome one.
Yeah, the coffee maker has one too. I could do that. You know, I I prefer the coffee I prefer, but I
Mm-hmm.
do have a decent palate for coffee. Just because I like coffee that tastes like crap doesn't mean that I don't know what good tasting coffee is.
Now that sounds very familiar. That sounds like what I grew up with.
Yep. It's also, I mean, it's also the way I am with wine and beer. Logpick says, I've drank enough truck stop coffee. You could probably feed me a cup of mud and I'd finish it. Yep.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we have, there's a local coffee shop in Charlottesville. Been there forever. And it's called the Mud House. The Mud House. Been there for since I was in high school. It has literally been there since I was in high school. It's been
It's
there,
always
yeah. And since about the second year it was there, because of my aphasia, it's also been the HUD mouse.
mm-hmm.
And I kind of always like the idea of a HUD mouse. A mouse with a little heads up display.
That works.
Um oh yes, back to Project 25. Ew. Gross. Gross, 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 gross.
I don't disagree with you.
So,
So
let's see. We've got table of contents and board members here. Um, it's gonna keep doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this section one area, this section one, taking
Yeah.
the reins of government, this is that thing that I was just talking about, the stuff that they'll be doing between, January 1st, 2025 and the end of 2025.
They've got a 180-day playbook that we could also look at if we wanted to really be angry.
Right. Um, and what their plan is to gut gut social services, gut uh regulatory boards, gut all of
Mm-hmm.
these sort of all of those things, and uh put in people who are supportive to their political ideologies into those spots. And the thing is, these positions of expertise throughout the government are apolitical positions. They're supposed to be apolitical, and the people
Mm-hmm.
who do the jobs now or did in the before times
Right.
took pride in being apolitical. They may have had their own political ideologies, but it was a matter of pride, a matter of honor, a matter of duty. I
Mm-hmm.
said duty.
Yes. Yes, you
To
did.
remain apolitical. Um, and that's part of part of what's going on here is also this gutting of the Chevron deference decision, uh, which allowed the uh, which allowed experts in a field to have input in how legislation was developed. Um, and by gutting it, what they're saying is, you know, all of these decisions should be political, you know,
Mm,
and
I'm
partisan.
I'm going to disagree with that. The big thing that they did with that was not take away the ability for the experts to do their job. The big thing they did there was take away, um, was add the accountability of the judicial branch back in. So you actually, as a small farmer, had a chance to stand up and say, hey, I realize there's a river 3 miles from here. This is not wetlands. You can't make me. This is not realistic that I need to treat this area like wetlands. I'm on top of a mountain.
I
Beforehand, if someone from the department said it is, then you just had to suck it up and pay your fines and stuff because you didn't have a legal recourse to say no, because all the judges looked at it and went, oh, well, they said it, so we can't touch it. So they're still able to make the policies, they're still able to do all that, but now there's actually a check and balance to it where there wasn't before.
okay. I mean, I see how that's I see how that is also true,
Mm,
but the other stuff it's doing is taking away it's giving a lot of power to people who want to do things like challenge, say, the the medical board decisions about tobacco being dangerous. You know, if somebody were to sue tobacco now over it being dangerous, any expert saying that it is dangerous could be dismissed. The evidence could be like, yeah, but we don't care. It was that's the other side of it. Yes, it is helpful for it's helpful for people who are having unfair regulations levied on them, but it's there to make it so that people who are having these fair regulations on them, it's making it so that they can fight fair regulation uh, as well as unfair regulation. The selling point to the populace is, oh, the common man has more power to fight back. But the other side of it is also corporations who are doing lots of damage and want to make more money and do more and not be told to do less damage are being given the power to steamroll over regulations. You see, that's the kind of thing that they're doing that really is upsetting.
Mm.
They're hiding they're hiding the dangerous stuff behind populist rhetoric.
They're putting the razor blades in the candy.
Yep. And then saying, don't trust anybody's candy. There are razor blades. Those sick people over there are putting razor blades in people's candy.
Yeah.
I I'm a small farmer, so it's not that I'm unsympathetic to the plight of small farmers, but I've also seen how small farmers, especially in the United States, disregard the safety and health of the environment in order to make ends meet for themselves.
True.
So I don't see. It's not that I'm not sympathetic to our plight. It's just that I don't think regulation should be done away with. I don't think regulation is where the compromise needs to happen. You know, it's it's the tax structure that needs to change to stop rewarding industrial agriculture and start rewarding individual agriculture.
That is definitely true.
You know, there's a lot of industrial corn around here,
Mm.
and I see it in places that, and right next to places that really ought to be being protected.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no idea what this DeKalb GMO industrial corn is doing to the waterways, to the forests. I'm not, and I'm not sure what they're putting on it.
Or, well, it wasn't even what's on it, what they've injected the seeds with, because I know there are some that hydro fertilize their seeds before they're planted.
And I will tell you this: there's a reason I do not eat fish out of the James River or the oh crap, what's the one that goes through Charlottesville?
Rivanna
Rivanna. There's a reason I won't eat out of the James or the Rivanna.
or the rockfish.
I'll eat out of the rockfish if I'm up high enough.
That's the catch, is getting up high enough.
Right. If I can get up into the hills above, I'll eat out of the rockfish. Although, right now, I
Very
don't
much there
think,
to fish in.
right, I don't think I'm allowed to eat out of any freaking river. And I've noticed that all of the state parks, at least around here, have gone to catch and release only.
Hmm.
So, wow.
I mean, I might go like Crabtree Falls and catch something there. That's
Shh.
but you'd actually have to do something stupid like cross the lines and feel like everybody else.
Actually, no, I don't have to. I do have a spot.
All right, you have a spot. The spots that are accessible to me are in the areas where you're allowed to publicly park and walk up and are told, "Don't step over the rope. It's stupid."
No,
And
you
legally
you
no
have
choice but
access
step over
to
the
you
rope.
have access to the spot I have access to. I'll take you there. I'm just not telling anybody on stream where it is because I don't want to see everybody show up there.
Well, yeah.
Like,
Keep in mind, there's also the fact that heights are an issue.
this is not. This isn't. I mean, yeah, you can go to where you're looking out over a cliff, but there are some spots for fishing that are not like that.
Okay,
Now,
that's
granted,
fair.
on the ride, you might have to not look out the window of the vehicle. But part of
Yeah,
why
because
I was so happy to get a Blueberoo is ground clearance
mm,
for this specific road.
uh,
I saw
oh,
somebody. I was last time I was going up there. I was in an SUV, so I had clearance, and I noticed that Subarus also had the
mhm,
clearance to do this. I'd see Subarus going past me, and I was like, "There it is."
yeah. Oh, side note, a friend of mine from years ago was looking through um, a motorcycle magazine at some of the most fun roads to ride on in the U.S. And they saw it and they're looking, that looks like that'd be really, really fun. And it was something called like the Dragon Back, and it was off, I forget exactly where. I want to say it was Carolinas, but I'm probably wrong.
I,
And
I,
I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at it, and I'm seeing this is for the elevation. Everything else is like, you realize that you've got a version of that right here. You don't. There's nothing like this. I'm like, look at that road, and I want you to think about Crabtree Falls Highway.
right.
No, no, no. Look at the elevations. But take your bike and go up the mountain and see what you say.
Right? I do love
I,
I do love that ride. Like coming down that hill is like slaloms. But I've been out I've been not coming down the hill that way much this season. I've been instead I've been going to the spot where I've been taking pictures and then
mm-hmm,
going back down to Afton,
mm-hmm,
coming up 64, getting off at Afton, going up there on the parkway and coming back down or going down there on the parkway and then coming back up the parkway instead of continuing down the parkway like I used to, continuing down the parkway and getting off either at Wintergreen or at Crabtree.
right. Oh, have you been through the tunnel? If you haven't, that's something that we should do is go through the tunnel, do the walking trip there.
I'm down. I'm down. I think it would be a great opportunity to get some video and pictures too.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been through the tunnel. I've started looking at it, not on maps or anything, but just investigating from above on the road on the mountain. And just so everybody knows, when we say mountains here, we kind of just mean really, 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 really tall hills. These are the oldest mountains in the world, I believe. If not the oldest in the world, they're definitely the oldest in the US.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're the oldest mountains in the world. And this range specifically is very, like, it's been
Yeah, it's in the middle.
ground down to oversized foothills. You know, this eastern side of the Shenandoah Valley are tiny. They are
Comparatively.
tiny. I mean, comparatively. But that's like compared to all the other mountains in the world. So I think we can say definitively tiny.
Mhm.
They're even small compared to the mountains on the other side of the Shenandoah Valley.
Mhm.
I also believe it's the only mountain range on the planet that is done being formed by tectonics.
Yep. We haven't had any new growth.
Wow. It
Yep.
existed in the time of Pangea. Yep. Yep. It's, and I feel soul bonded with it. I cannot get but so far away from these mountains,
Makes a lot of sense.
right? There we go. Ah, we are really procrastinating this. We are putting this off. Okay.
Yeah, we are. I figure we can survive making it through that forward section. Not even section one, just the forward, the promise to America, and that's where we're gonna have to be like,
Yeah.
we need to walk away, go find some chocolate, go get our comfy blanket,
Touch
go do
some
something outside away
grass.
from this.
Go touch
Yes.
some grass.
Yeah.
I'm touching grass.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Go touch
Wow,
Pokemon
Trevor.
something.
Wow, Trevor. You really do amuse the heck out of yourself,
I mean, someone has to.
right? Isn't that the description of a hillbilly? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And I can't argue that. Like, it's yep.
I mean, yes, lockpick, but he already gets a kick out of him. It doesn't have to be someone else.
If I wasn't me, I'd get a kick out of me. If I wasn't me, I'd get a kick out of me. Probably in the head, maybe in the butt.
No, no, in the shin, because you don't generally try to do too much harm.
I do not kick people in the shins.
Okay,
I don't kick people in the shins and I don't kick them in the nuts.
okay.
I mean, I guess I will kick them in the shins if I have to, or I'll rake the shins if I absolutely have to.
Mm,
But I really don't. I really try to leave like the shins and the nuts alone just out of absolute kindness.
mm.
It just seems so mean, you know? I could probably stop somebody from hurting me without having to do that.
Okay, that's fair.
All right. We have under 2 minutes to discuss common defense section.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
kind of where I stopped reading the other night. Was like,
that's fair. Uh, this is all of the departmental stuff that they want to change. This is that.
that they want to, yeah,
This is that in depth. Okay.
yeah,
Wow. And that's like most of it. Oh,
general will, oh yeah, welfare,
those are the departments that aren't covered under that.
right?
This one, this one,
Oh yeah,
this one, this one.
we're gonna have to go through that. We're gonna have to go through each of those because there's
Department
stuff
by
that touches
department.
on there.
Yep. Oh, crap. Now, see,
Then you got the other ones.
yeah, the economic stuff. Now, see, again, this is the thing, like, and here's
So
okay, when we come back from commercial, we're less than a minute away from commercial. When we come back from commercial, I do want to talk about the Trump and the economy and sort of the conservative uh, ideas around that. Although calling it conservative, they're not fiscal conservatives anymore, and that's that bothers me. Um, we'll discuss the economy when we get back from commercial, though.
or at least the table of contents economy.
No, what we're gonna discuss economy as well. Um, because I think there's some background that needs to be there.
Mm.
See you when you come back from commercial. After these messages.
Be right
Right
back.
back.
Both of us are corny in the same way,
Yeah. I
in
need
some of the same ways.
yeah. I need to find a way to disable uh that thing about the screen going blank when I'm
Well,
on a different window.
so instead of sharing that screen, why don't you share the other screen like you did the other day?
What do you mean?
Um, you had you had the window with Discord, but then you also pulled up larger your other screen so we could see it better.
Oh, um no, I do not. Discord will hide the shared screen on your end. We still see it on ours in Discord, but in Twitch right now, you should see something that says your stream is still running. We've paused this preview to save your resources.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is OBS capture window. Okay. I'll look into that when we get off stream because I don't think I want to try doing actually make the web browser a source.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I will do that when we get off of here because the idea of trying to make adjustments to OBS mid go seems a little dangerous.
Hmm.
Um, Also, OBS is about to update. Um, right. So I don't know what it's gonna look like after I do that. Well,
Fair point.
yeah. We're back from commercial. There you go. Now the economy, the points that I wanted to make about the economy. Uh the points I wanted to make about the economy is that people seem to think right now that Trump could handle the economy better than Biden. What they are seeing, though, is that Trump was being a fiscal radical while Biden and more to the point, because it's not really Biden who's doing this stuff with the economy. It's Jay Powell. Jay
Hmm.
Powell is the one shaping how the economy is behaving right now. And not just the one, he's just the face of that organization of the Fed
Hmm.
right now. And what is going on is he's being a conservative. He is being very conservative about fiscal policy because he's trying to avoid a crash and burn from how hot the economy was after Trump left. Trump gassed the economy up so much that it could have been in danger of spiraling out of control and crashing.
Hmm.
So what Jay Powell has done by uh by raising interest rates and keeping them up is he has slowed the economy down, cooled us off to the point, hopefully to a point where we can cut interest rates around the end of the year and and slowly bring the economy back up to a decent speed. You know, the fact that we still have record low unemployment, even though that's beginning to change a little, it but not much. You know, it doesn't it doesn't mean that our economy is ready to be let free again, let to do its own thing again. What Powell is trying to avoid is a recession, a major recession, uh,
Hmm.
which is what would happen if these regulations weren't in place. Uh,
Yeah.
we would have seen I think, a boom in in pay pay increases in certain sectors, but not across the board. And then unemployment would uh, start
So skyrocketed.
right because they couldn't afford to pay for everybody. So they're and maintain profits. So they're
Hmm.
firing people to pay other people, and all of a sudden you have high unemployment, huge pay gap, and uh, nothing, no guardrails in place on that. So that being said, I feel like the the GOP, these people are trying to run an economy much more like the Democrats of old. The difference being that the Democrats of old were trying to use the economy to pay for large government. These
Mm,
people want to use the economy to pay themselves.
yes.
And now the Democrats of new are actually preaching a bit of fiscal conservatism because it's kind of what we need.
Mm,
Although high taxes and spending in government, that's but it's about where the spending in government happens.
mm-hmm.
So, all of that background being said, this whole thing, you know, it give you some idea of what they want to do with it and what we'll be
Yeah.
looking at when we look there.
Yeah.
And here we come to section 5, the independent regulatory agencies. And I think a lot of these, I think some of these are covered under the, would have been covered, were covered, let me get my tenses right, under the
Mm,
Chevron doctrine or the Chevron deference. And
mm,
will no longer be, are no longer. And if you look at these are things that definitely need regulation. And this one, the Federal Election Commission, uh, that's that's scary because if they do, if they can get, ooh, then we'll
yeah.
never have another free and fair election. Hans Evan Sparkowski?
Mm. Mm. Guten
There is,
Tag, wie geht's es du?
except, except also, yeah, comrade. It's like German and Russian and nothing good.
There's going to have to be some Mandarin in there somewhere.
Yeah. The A probably stands for
Mm.
something that I'm not going to say because that would be because I don't have anything loaded that isn't, you know.
A is for apple, B is for button, C is for corn, D is for donkey.
And I feel like a donkey if I say something that culturally insensitive out loud.
All right, so we move on.
That looks like the end of the table of contentus.
Yeah,
The table of discontent.
yeah, very much discontent. Oh, yeah. You can tell by my side notes how discontent I was at certain points reading.
Yeah, yeah. Now, oh, okay, so the full name of this is Mandate for Leadership 2025, The Conservative Promise.
Right.
I don't ever believe anything those people promise anybody.
Mm-mm.
And B, I don't like what they're promising. This
Mm-mm.
sounds more like a threat than a promise.
That schoolyard thing, is that a threat or a promise? Yes.
Uh huh. Not or, and. So, the part you have highlighted, we were particularly grateful to have the help of dedicated members of the Heritage Foundation's management and policy teams. Executive Vice President Derek Morgan, FU. Chief of Staff Wesley Cooper Smith, FU. Associate Director of Project 2025 Spencer Sheraton, FU2. And Thomas A. Rowe, Institute for Economic Policy Studies, Director Paul Ray, devoted a significant amount of their time to reviewing and editing the lengthy manuscript and provided expert advice and insight. So,
Mm-hmm.
Fubble Duck you, Paul Ray. What's a Fubble Duck?
When we get off camera, we'll talk about exactly what that is.
Oh, actually, it's a song that's coming up.
Oh, that's good.
I got work files from the studio on Fubble Duck recently.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm working on Fubble Duck.
Mm-hmm.
Muck Life Fife.
Mm-hmm.
I'd even go so far as to say Muck Fee.
Mm-hmm.
Most important,
Mm.
we are grateful to the leadership, supporters, and donors of each of the Project 2025 advisory board members and organizations and those of the Heritage Foundation without whom Project 2025 would not be possible. Thank you, Paul Dans and Stephen Groves. Remember
This is
those
highlighted.
names, Paul Dans and Stephen Groves.
This is highlighted specifically for the time travelers in the audience that wish to go take care of this.
These people, these are the people. Just saying, man, time travelers.
You don't have to go back too far, but
And honestly, like, I doubt this is like Days of Future Past messing with the past really screws up the future kind of stuff.
I mean, we have to find something else to talk about today, but that's about it. We could do that. Florida's still there. Florida will always be there.
Right?
And Australia.
I'm waiting for things to change. Well,
Yeah.
in case they don't discover time travel, let's keep going.
I mean,
Okay.
it may take us a while to get there. Yeah. Also, for the time travelers, here are the advisors.
Right? The advisory board. Concerned Women for America.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Claremont Institute. I hear them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
American Accountability Foundation. Interesting. Legis.
Center for Family and Human Rights. I find that hard to believe that they actively cooperated.
Right?
Again, with the
I
Center for Equal Opportunity.
I don't think that those. I don't think those are the EEOC that were. I think it's.
It's other centers, yeah.
I think so. I think it's other centers who have deceptively similar names.
Yeah. Which again, razor blade in the candy. Doesn't those look just like the people that you've grown to trust or associate with this kind of thing over the last few years?
Just
It's a
saying.
phishing email. This is a phishing email.
Yes, it is.
Honest elections project.
Right? Also, Foundation for Defense of Democracies.
It sounds a lot like Moms for Liberty.
Right? Keystone Policy. James Madison
Yeah.
Institute. Those two I know.
Mm-hmm.
Institute for Women's Health.
Hmm.
I, again, think it's
Doubt that.
right.
Then there's a telling you 1792 exchange. How far back in time do these people want to take us?
All the way.
Yeah. The Young Americans or Young America's Foundation. That sounds.
Hitler Youth, you mean?
Yeah.
I'll go there.
Oh yeah.
I'll say it.
Go for
Sounds like Hitler Youth to me.
it. That it does.
It's where we send our blondest and most blue eyed young men. The 2025 Presidential Transition Project. This is the introduction, yes?
Yeah. Well, no.
No, that's just the introduction to the introduction.
That's the introduction of the different authors, which I did not highlight or go through because I
Okay.
can research them later.
I think we will be. Okay. First off, you know, starts with a call to action here.
Mm-hmm.
We want you. The 2025 Presidential Transition Project is a conservative movement's unified effort to be ready for the next conservative administration to govern at 12 noon, January 20th, 2025. That sounds ominous.
Doesn't it?
Welcome to the mission.
Yeah.
By opening this book, you are now a part of it.
Yeah. Eh,
Indeed, one set of eyes reading these passages will be those of the 47th President of the United States, and we hope every other reader will join in making the incoming administration a success. Okay, see, that sounds like they're planning on winning.
I mean, they are planning on winning.
Which makes me think they're planning on winning by any means possible. which is,
Kind of against that whole fair election thing that they were screaming about.
yeah, also, but it does fit in with the refusal to accept the election. Uh,
Yeah,
you know, we're in ad break.
yeah.
I'm gonna
Oh, yeah.
jump us down to that. Reagan's monkey was named Bonzo or Gonzo? Bonzo.
Bonzo thing.
Okay. Ronald bedtime for Bonzo Reagan.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with that because I can't say the. I'm not saying the F word and I'm not saying effing each time. Bedtime for Bonzo. Well, well, Reagan. Ronald Reagan. Nancy who? I remember jelly beans. Bedtime for Bonzo. Bedtime for Bonzo.
Yeah.
We're gonna skip down to this highlighted section here. Um, welcome back from commercial. You know, after this episode, I may have to go brush my teeth because it's probably gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah. Thee and me both.
Uh, in winter of 1980, the fledgling Heritage Foundation handed to President elect Ronald Bedtime for Bonzo Reagan the inaugural Mandate for Leadership. This collective work by conservative thought leaders and former government hands, most of whom were not part of heritage, set out policy prescriptions agency by agency for the incoming president. The book literally put the conservative movement and bedtime for Bonzo Reagan on the same page, and the revolution that followed might never have been, save for this band of committed and volunteer activists. With this volume, we have gone back to the future and then some.
Yeah. That. Yeah, that.
No, no, I'm just gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm. That's about all you can do.
Yep. See, this is where I got angry last night and was like, no, I've got to just walk away. I'm gonna. Yeah, no.
Yeah. That's what video games are good for,
Yep.
among other things.
I went up into the mountains, took pictures, then went to the
That
pop
too.
up, then played kids on bikes.
Nice.
Yes, it's a lot of fun.
So I have heard.
Huh?
Said so I have heard.
Yes. It's a good way to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Today's pre-rolls brought to you by The Hidden Leaf, Charlottesville, Virginia. 105 West Main Street, Suite 200, above the bricks, between 10,000 villages and Hamiltons. The only
Mm,
thing better than their bud is their customer service. Because I already need a second one.
yeah.
So, now, not a spokesperson. No, not a spokesperson. Uh, I endorse them, they don't endorse me. I'm an advocate for them, not a
Hmm.
spokesperson. I think that's how that goes. Although, if they ever want me to be a spokesperson,
You're there.
I'm in. I am in. I will make my contract so reasonable that I'll take the M&M writer right the fuck. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. Write the fudge out of my contract. I will take the M&M rider right the fudge out of my contract.
I love that. That is awesome. And poor Lockpick's missing all the fudge.
Oh, all the fudge. Oh god. Fudge was so good. Oh, that fudge was so good though. That's the story of my life, says Lockpick.
Hmm.
Missing the fudge, yes, that's the story of my life too.
Hmm. All right, you've
All
done
right,
your ad.
I know.
Too late. We've already taken it how we're going to take it.
Right? Okay.
Sorry, Lockpick.
Oh, yeah, that is, yeah. Mm. Well, don't worry, Lockpick. I endorse you. I endorse you, Lockpick. Everybody should go follow Lockpick. They should
Hmm.
listen to his DJ streams and listen to him be Lockpick because it is so much fun.
Hmm.
It's what happens when you get a highly intelligent person with a whole lack of ethic.
No, I mean, there's.
Oh, Master. Everybody should go out
Oh,
there and follow Master too. We love Master. Howdy, I. Yeah. Yeah, sure, you betcha, eh? I'm a bit high. Lockpick and Master up in the chat, and it's just getting funny.
good. We need it.
Um, Lockpick says, Master, that's it. You get to sleep on the patio. Master Rasta says, don't follow me unless you want to be disappointed. I'm never disappointed with you. Master says, can I at least have Latte with me? Latte is Lockpick's cat.
Yeah.
Latte likes to grab butts.
I mean, I can't argue.
Mm. Lockpick says, hell no, she's an indoor cat. I actually care if the coyotes get to her. Hey, Chris. Chris into 386 is in here. Uh,
I- I've 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 got a stuffed kitty cat at school, Master. You can take that to the patio with you.
uh, what do you say to a three-headed British giant? Hello, hello, hello.
That is terrible.
I know. This is not that kind of stream, Chris. Master says at least the streamers are nice to me here. Oh. We try to be
Yeah,
nice to everybody,
most of the time.
except each other.
I mean, there's that. That is entirely.
I just realized that between you, me, and Brock, we are kind of.
Growing up, I was taught you are polite to strangers, you are extra polite to enemies, and you're rude as all get out to your family and friends.
Well,
And
yeah,
if nothing else, it was a signal to if family and friends walked up to you talking to someone, they could tell whether that's someone that you didn't know or someone that they needed to back you up against.
right. I get that. I get that. Uh, it used to be. It also used to be people's way of telling how I felt about them. Um, in New York, up in
Mm-hmm.
Ithaca, the saying was that you know he's nice to everyone. If he's rude to you, he likes you. If he's mean to you, he really likes you.
So, yeah.
I am
I
no.
mean,
I try to no longer be like that. I'm trying to be. I'm trying to not be mean to my friends. You know.
maybe it's a New England thing since mom was raised partially in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, no, it's a southern thing too. It's not like I mean that's a you know
I mean,
close friends and family mess with each other around here. That's absolutely normal. And yeah, you treat people you don't know with politeness, and people you don't like with extreme kindness. That is very southern, and that's something that I don't like. Um, I don't like that extreme kindness thing. I find it
well,
disingenuous, and it's something that bothers me down here.
I'm not going to be kind to them, but I will be extra polite so that I keep my temper and don't do something that I will get in actual trouble for.
That's
If I'm
fair.
being polite and I'm minding my P's and Q's extra hard around you,
That's
I'm
fair.
not going to go for rides.
I get that.
But that's not the same as being kind.
For me, yeah. Well, see, Southern kindness ain't kind,
Mm,
and it's something you can tell you can tell Southern kindness, and it's a way of being really unkind.
yeah.
Uh, so what I told you to go die in a fire, that was a term of endearment? Yes, exactly.
I mean, it's the same way as me telling my boyfriend to go eat broccoli and die.
Um, you know, I find the southern kindness to be so disingenuous that it's kind of disgusting.
Mm,
And that's one of the things I learned when I went up north was that like at least if I at least if I'm straight up with somebody about how they make me feel, what I think about them,
mm-hmm.
I can respect me. And
Yeah.
more often than not, they'll respect me at least a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I've tempered it with a southern desire to avoid conflict,
Yeah. That's definitely there for a lot.
where I just don't say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody currently who is fitting to get past the I don't talk about it phase.
Mm-hmm.
The next time they give me attitude, it's
Mm.
gonna be like, look. But I have a lot of patience with people, and I'm willing to give a lot of space and grace. Lockpick says, even if I hate people, uh, I have full respect if they are at least honest and upfront. Right, exactly. Lockpick gives that little bit more attitude. Exactly. Oh no, it's not you, honey. Lockpick, you're
No.
not the. You can give me a little bit more anytime. Yet. Uh no, this person is just
Yeah.
they're trying to tell me how to behave in a space that is a comfortable space for me, and I have been there for a very long time, and it's
Oh, yeah.
they're about to they just test me one more time and find out. And the thing is I'm probably the worst thing I'm going to do is tell them how insignificant and unimportant they are. And
Yeah.
that that will that can be very crushing.
Yes. Yes, I can.
It will, it's the kind of thing that like yeah, I will make it crushing cuz they're just it's like they're pushing me to that point in my own safe space. Like
There's better ways to go about this. This ain't it.
right. And best insult on TV ever was in Mad Men. After
Mm-hmm.
being told that the dude feels sorry for him, the response is, I don't think about you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I still think that John Hamm should open uh, a morning curtain store selling curtains for morning and call it
Mm-hmm.
Dawn Drapers.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it has a certain ring to it.
That's also not my joke. That was written by a friend of mine, Ken Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that joke. That and the other joke he wrote that I absolutely adore is What did the seafood chef say when he introduced his new condiment?
Uh, I have no idea.
Tartar!
Okay.
Tartar!
Right.
If anybody needed proof that I'm kind of simple, it's that very these jokes make me laugh so hard. Like, God bless my pea picking little soul.
Speaking of which, how's the cucumbers and pickles coming along? Or do we have any this year?
Nah, we
Too
don't.
hot?
Too hot. Also, I've been I've been too distracted by farming content.
Uh,
You know,
yeah,
trying to get things to where I'm pulling. Yeah, where I'm pulling stuff in.
that's fair.
So,
Hmm.
all right, just a little bit more to go. Just a little bit more to go. We got this.
Yeah.
And here we are at the pillars.
Yeah.
Pillar 1. This volume puts in one place a consensus view of how major federal agencies must be governed and where disagreement exists, brackets out these differences for the next president to choose a path. We're in ad break.
Do you get the feeling that even Twitch doesn't want to talk about this because it's upset?
It feels like even Twitch is like,
Can we not?
can we just not? Can we anything else? And no, we can't. We want to, but we can't.
Mm.
So, did I tell you about that property that I was looking at? There's a little creek in it.
You mentioned that there was something you were looking at, but I didn't hear anything else about it.
Well, unfortunately, in this creek, there's a shed.
Okay.
It was a watershed moment. I shouldn't have said shed. I should have said outbuilding. There was an outbuilding in this creek. I
The
couldn't.
problem is that I
I
heard the word and I walked into it anyway.
Yeah.
I heard you say that, and I walked into that pun anyway because I've seen so many things out here that I just went, okay, there's a shed in the creek.
Yeah.
Friggin' punsters.
Thank you. Pretty happy with that one. Uh, what's the shortest leg of a triangle? It's the low-pot-noose.
Oh,
That was the reaction I was looking for.
does it mean that you're going to encourage a herd of hippopotamuses to take up residency in the creek?
Okay, I don't know what pun you're working your way towards there.
I'm just going with hippopotamus.
Oh, hippopotamus. Okay, see, That's if you put a moose in a river. Because a moose is already just a really big horse,
Mm-hmm.
and a hippopotamus is literally called river horse. That's what the name means.
Yeah. I think my favorite moose fact, and I don't care if it's true or not, it's still a favorite fact, is that they are water going and they will dive down to eat vegetation and they have fought orcas.
I feel bad for that orca.
I'm just wondering if we can talk certain politicians into doing a sea cruise in an area that is infested by orcas and moose, and instigate an uprising that way.
Can you imagine what that orca's friends said when it came back? I was attacked in the water by this. I mean, I don't even know what it was. It's huge.
And
Had
then
these
it got out of the water.
these big things on its head. I don't even know. Yeah, right. You're lying. There's no such thing as land monsters. Those aren't real.
With anchors on its head? Come on.
Yeah. All the
Although,
land monsters stay on the land anyway. Except for those pesky human things.
oh, look, there's humans in a boat with lots of pretty colors. Let's go get it.
Right? Okay, so Pillar 1. This volume puts in one place consensus view of how major federal agencies must be governed and where disagreements exist. Brackets out these differences for the next president to choose a path. Pillar 2 is a personnel database that allows candidates to build their own professional profiles and our coalition members to review and voice their recommendations. These recommendations will then be collated and shared with the president elect's team, greatly streamlining the appointment process. This is how we get more of our people in.
Yes.
Pillar 3. Um, Pillar 1 is, this is how we make sure everybody who we're dealing with believes like we do. This is how we get those people in. Pillar 3 is Presidential Administration Academy, an online educational system taught by experts from our coalition. For the
This is how
newcomers,
we make sure they think about. Yeah,
right?
political Facebook, exactly.
Yep, yep. Political
Yep, love it.
Facebook with, and this is political YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
For the experienced, we will host in person seminars, live streams,
Mm-hmm.
advanced training, and set the bar for what is expected of senior leadership. Actually, no, that sounds more like actual in person seminars
Yeah.
of
But
old. But still, this is training them to think right. Uh, Pillar 5, the playbook. We are forming agency teams and drafting transition plans to move out upon the president's utterance of "So help me God." They have a trigger word, a trigger phrase. Dude, not cool. So, like, I kind
yeah,
of feel like the other side of things should also be ready in case a conservative president ever utters, "So help me God." we should be ready for the uprising. We should be ready for them to come at us.
Yes. Yes.
Of course, I also walk around ready.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty safe assumption that they're going to come at me, whether. Well, I don't know if it's a safe assumption. It's a keep me safe assumption that they're going to come at me someday, whether or not the president sanctions it, overtly
Mm-hmm.
or covertly. And that's part of why I started carrying around a second knife, an actual weapon knife, instead of the ceremonial one that I was carrying around, that I do still carry around. But and it feels
Essentially, you've got the same situational awareness effectively
yeah,
that most females have to have, or female presenting people have to have in a dark parking lot, because your dark parking lot exists every day.
right. Pro tip, if you don't know how to fight properly with a knife, don't carry one. It will be taken and used against you if you aren't skilled with it. That is very true, lockpick. Also, I will say, lockpick, that I don't I won't choose to use the knife first to defend myself. No matter what the situation, no matter what the other person has, my first option will be my hands. The knife is, because it's more lethal, is a much less attractive option to me. And I've been tempted to get a gun, to carry a gun. I am well enough versed with a gun that it's not, but I'm not gun people. I'm literally not gun people. Like, I was in an almost clockwork orange way raised to be against guns, which I find to be absolutely bizarre that it not necessarily safe.
No.
Okay. As Americans living at the approach of our nation's 250th birthday, we have been given much. As conservatives, we are much required to steward this precious heritage for the next generation. On behalf of our coalition partners, we thank you and invite you to come blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Paul Dans, director of Project 2025, and probably a straight white man over 50.
I don't know, but when I go do my research, I'll look him up for you.
Yep. You'll research the authors.
That's going to be some slow research, but I will do it.
Yeah. If you find a researcher, feel free to outsource.
Currently, the researchers that I know are working on other projects. I in my circle, I am the one that gets tagged to do the research more often than not for some reason. Can't think why.
Because you're good at it. And by good at it, I mean you have patience for it.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Lockpick says, I'm mostly indifferent to guns.
Hmm? That's fair.
I like I like having the right to own a gun.
Mm.
I like that other people have right to own guns. I like that other people own guns. I don't like that people that don't like me own guns, but
Mm.
I see the fairness of the situation.
Yeah.
Past that, I mean, it just past that, I have been behaviorally shaped to dislike them.
Mm.
See, this is why I kind of have a problem with the whole idea of behavioral health as a notion. Like, behavior is a shaped thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is healthy behavior?
Good question.
Anyway, contributors, the policy views and the policy views and reform proposals herein are not an all inclusive catalog of of conservative ideas for the next president, nor is there unanimity among the contributors or the organizations with which they are affiliated with regard to the recommendations. So, not even all of us agree. But,
Honestly, I think they had to put that in there so that when inevitably the ones that were used just for general facts.
right,
You know, we talked to so and so and we got our statistics here.
okay,
And we tagged them as a contributor. They had to put this there so that later on when so and so comes back and says, all we did was provide actual real life data on this. We don't agree with any of this. They can say, see, we told you we don't agree.
right. Also, though,
Totally.
I think they put this in there uh, in order that the presidential candidate could do exactly what the presidential candidate is doing right now, and that's
Yeah,
disavowing knowledge of or
things.
having anything to do with Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Trump said he doesn't know what this is.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever read it.
It's 900 plus pages and it's got excellent footnotes. Why would he?
He doesn't read. Why would he?
There's no
As
pictures.
somebody does, I don't know. I'm not going to get into those suppositions at the moment. But that does give us some idea there.
Mm-hmm. A very long list of people that contributed in varying ways.
hmm It might be worth looking through that to see um, what some of those are like. Which ones are coming from like the what's its name? The not at the ones that we were like really
From actual supposedly non-biased sources and from
yeah
places that are just phishing names.
right exactly. Might be interesting to do that cross reference.
Yeah. I'm going to look to see if someone else has already done that cross reference because I'm sure someone has.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, that would be the research project, and in doing that, I would find out more about the various people.
Okay. Okay. Start to the Forward was by Kevin. Oh, okay. I don't. Okay. I'll read the. I'll read the highlighted part.
Mm,
I don't want to read much of this because it's just gonna.
I know.
Look at America under the ruling and cultural elite today. Inflation is ravaging family budgets. Drug overdose deaths continue to escalate, and children suffer the toxic normal. I'm not. Nope. Sorry. I thought I
That's
could.
where
I thought I could. I just can't. I can't. This is so. I, I have such a visceral reaction to this
all right.
that that it just the one thing I will say that I took away from this other than I want my force powers so I can choke them through a screen.
Yeah.
Um the one thing I will say is that this last sentence about I mean it's so the to build the totalitarian cult known as the Great Awakening?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of off the rails? Oh, that's so like what? Whose imagination came up with that idea?
The person that wrote this. This is all this for this section. This is all written by the same person, who, among other things, goes back and forth. Can't decide whether he's touting things that would count as an actual socialist thing or not, and can't keep his terms straight. Um,
This
yeah. Let's see. More. Let's see. The next section is more touting for their supposed help for Reagan.
be they known by the company they keep. I deem
Yeah.
them to be as vile as the company they keep.
All right. So if you want, I can skip down to the next one about families. The one that truly upset me, and I can tell you why. That's the
Please
Reagan
do.
section. All right.
Please do.
So this will be the section down on page
I'm there.
section. Yeah. So it goes through the four. This dude goes through the quote unquote the um, four things that he views needs to be done to fix things. Um, Restoring family is the centerpiece for life, protecting children, dismantling administrative state and returning self-governance to the people, defending our borders, and securing individual rights to live freely. Going down to the first goal, the first promise about family, they have this wonderful paragraph here. Today, the American family is in crisis. 40% of all children are born to unmarried mothers. Right there. If you look up the actual current statistics,
We're an ad break.
okay, which the next time we do this, if you want me to read,
Yeah,
I can do that. I'm fine with reading as long as you scroll along for the screen.
I have no problem with that. I have
If
no
nothing else, I
problem.
know how to read out loud to small children.
I mean, we're both good at reading out loud, so there we go.
Yeah.
It is one of our. It is our job. It's within both of our sets of job skills.
Yes, it is.
I
Yes,
just
it is.
this is and this makes me so angry that I just I can't I can't I just
Mm-hmm.
can't like I can't even, I can't odd, I can't prime.
Well, you need to figure out how to Fibonacci then.
I can normally Fibonacci. I can't even Fibonacci with this. Like, I just get so
If you can't
angry.
even, then you can Fibonacci because you're already in a spiral.
Ah! Nice.
All right. So, yeah.
We are back. So,
So they go through all of the terribleness about how fatherlessness is one of the principal sources of American poverty, crime, mental illness, teen suicide, substance abuse, rejection of the church, and high school dropouts. They linked this all to one unifying thing, and they go on. They keep basically hammering home. 40% of all children are born to single mothers,
and
which
it's
statistically is correct, but not accurate. Because their statistics say nothing about the number of cohabitating parents that feel no need to get married.
okay.
So their base statistic is 40%, which is correct, but it totally denies the existence of parents that have been together in a stable but not married relationship for a long period of time.
I also feel like the basic supposition is flawed.
Yes.
I feel like anecdotally, um, fathers do more damage than not, and I feel like statistically it's possibly provable, but I'm not
It is
sure.
it is
But
potentially provable.
Lockpick says, "This is why I'm always willing to let women call me daddy. It's for their own mental health."
Very admirable, Lockpick. Very admirable of you.
Will you be my new daddy, Lockpick?
I knew that was coming. So anyway, out of their total number of people that are cited, um, it's like it's more like 15 to 20% are actual single mothers in their own single home for whatever reason. Be it that's how
Right.
they wanted it, be it they got divorced and they have no actual child support, or whatever of the mitigating circumstances there are. You know, and as a separate statistic. I'm not exactly sure what the balance is in England, um, for their supposed crime rates and things that are linked that aren't linked.
Uh huh.
But I know that there is a better than 50% um, ratio of unmarried families.
Okay. Okay.
So my biggest thing here is you dump all of this on one tiny data point and you don't accurately reflect your data point. And okay,
Right.
having a home that does not have full support from multiple people does make things tougher, but it doesn't necessarily lead to all of that.
Well, see, this is part of a conservative playbook. You
Exactly.
know, you have one slightly plausible statement that you then bend everything to fit a narrative for. Uh, Lockpick said, I'm not sure if your mental state is able to be recovered from. I'll put you in an unrecoverable mental state.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really not sure what that means, but it sounded good at the time.
I think you and some of the potato chip romance novels I've read need to get together and talk about that one.
Um, Lockpick said this video just got demonetized. Yep. Oh yeah, no, I honestly I have no expectation that most of my videos will be monetized.
And I mean, if it's demonetized, does that mean the ads stop running?
Not on Twitch,
Oh well.
on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
it's easy to get demonetized, to get your stuff demonetized on YouTube.
Oh, definitely.
Uh, so I'm kind of not even. I'm aiming to get big enough so that I can like monetize, but I'm not expecting. I'm expecting most of my stuff to be demonetized, and
For reasons.
for reasons. And instead of changing that, I will uh, release other content that doesn't get demonetized. That is
Mm-hmm.
designed for non demonetization, and that will be probably mostly comedy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mostly
That
just
works.
very safe comedy.
Yeah.
Um, but that being said, Lockpick,
Yeah.
you can
So
demonetize any of my videos. Moving along.
yeah.
The next conservative president must make the institutions of American civil society hard targets for woke culture warriors. This starts with deleting the terms sexual orientation and gender identity, SOGI, diversity,
Mm-hmm.
equity, and inclusion, DEI, gender.
Please see that last statement, that last promise about um, you know, our rights to live freely. They want to secure the rights to live freely, but only for them.
Right. Only
Because
for only for people that they deem worthy of
right.
of having
Because
citizenship.
Specifically, they mention here removing the idea of reproductive health and reproductive rights.
Right. Because women won't be
People.
biological citizens under this.
Yes.
To
Um,
borrow a term from the book that we're reading on Tuesdays, you know,
exactly.
this is that book is giving us,
Some insight into this.
well, some basic tools
Mm-hmm.
for understanding. um
No.
which is why y'all should also join me for Tuesday streams. As
Yeah.
upsetting as it is, as hard as it is, uh, it's important background to have, these background ideas. I keep
Yeah.
hearing echoes of that as we go through. Um, you know. Oh, and for the videotators, I mean YouTubers out there,
Mm.
vegetators. Uh, I am going to be releasing the 1D10T does stuff videos starting soon. I think I'd like to get all the way through the first book, through the book that I'm working on, and then post the videos and have a live stream, possibly have a live stream on YouTube having a discussion about them. Um, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but this is kind of the idea that I'm developing. And I'm going to finish going through, I'm going to finish up the book before I start
Mm-hmm.
releasing it on YouTube.
Which is fair. That gives you time to start on your next one or whatever. And
Also gives me time to sit with what I've read for a little while before
yeah,
opening up the discussion to YouTube.
that is also very important.
Um, I feel like, having the discussion with Twitch, my Twitch audience is very supportive, uh, and I think it's a very safe environment for me to have these conversations. I'm not entirely sure YouTube's going to be as safe, and most definitely the comment section is not.
Oh yeah.
Um, in fact, also coming down the pipeline, um, I haven't started getting work files from this yet, but uh, I've gotten the secret encoded message that this will be happening. Uh,
Mm.
I've gotten some comments in YouTube's chat, or not YouTube chat, in YouTube comment section recently that I think just because I was feeling emotionally vulnerable, they've hit a little harder than normal.
Mm.
And while I don't think I've done any, I think I've handled it about as normal. Um, I had some very My hurt feelings have been acknowledged by the record label, and they have assured me that they are working on a song about my hurt feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That could be different, yes.
Working title is called Haterade. But there have been suggestions for other titles.
I appreciate both titles that I heard.
Yeah. Wait, are you just getting general memos from the corporation? Are they not like speaking to you through secret code?
Keep in mind, getting in touch with me basically amounts to speaking to me in secret code if you can catch my attention.
Okay. Okay. Because the way that they communicate with me, like it's enough to make me think that I might have had a schizophrenic break sometimes. The only reason why I don't think I'm crazy is because the work files keep showing up on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So if, as long as, as long as they're not like treating you like a normal person and still just doing this to me, then it may not be gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it still might be gaslighting.
No, I just get random pieces of cheese thrown at me to get my attention.
All right, that is about as bizarre as what I go through.
You have an email. I'm not reading that email. Here's a piece of cheese.
Ooh, email. Now, the reason I know this one's coming
Mm,
is because a random guy on the street nodded at me.
mm-hmm.
It's like it was a specific nod that it was like, "Oh, I'm going to get emailed these work files soon, or I'm going to get these
Mm-hmm.
files on my phone soon." And it would seem like I am, crazy room, red string, except it works.
I mean, if you pull a random string and the dragon's mouth opens, then, there's something to it.
If you pull a random string and the dragon's mouth opens, then you've probably been assigned the character of Dragon Dentist.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about eh, talk about hazard pay. Talk about needing a fireproof suit.
the the Crocodile Dentist by Shel Silverstein is one of my favorite poems. I
Yeah.
figure Dragon Dentist would be just about as entertaining.
All right. We're so close, aren't we? No, we're not.
All right.
I don't think we're going to get to the end of the forward because I'm really like,
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We cover we cover things that you should only watch with other adults and how educators and public librarians are purveyors of it and should be registered on a specific list. which I find this funny given the companies and things that the current candidate owns or has owned,
Right,
and the fact that the things that he went to court for.
right. But they don't
Uh,
care. They don't care. He's a puppet. His own
I know,
personal ethics, morals, values don't matter. They just want their stuff seen through.
which is an awesome statement to say in light of the very last sentence of that particular section. In summary, the next president has a moral responsibility to lead the nation in restoring the culture of life. Moral responsibility of a puppet. So let's see, administrative straight. I did not highlight a whole lot here. Mostly just the note that they're blaming things on previous feckless presidents. I'm like, oh, that's a wonderful
Feckless.
word. Yes, yes. As monolithic as the left's institutional power appears to be, it originates with appropriations from Congress and is made complete by a feckless president. That's a beautiful choice of words considering the Cheeto puff they're trying to elect.
I'm not feckless. I've got my fecks
Nope.
right here.
Yep.
Deedly.
Mm-hmm.
Ha
Let's
ha!
see.
I'm gonna get nailed for copyright infringement on that one.
Eh,
Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, is gonna sue me.
well, you can go to California with Birdman. You can go visit an island out there.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
did you get that thing? That thing I sent you?
I got a couple things that were sent.
No,
I have
it's
had.
a lot. It's a thing. It's a whole thing from Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. It's that thing I sent you.
I'll have to look again because I don't have anything recently in that particular box.
Ch- when other people haven't seen the media that you have, when you're making cultural references to things that other people don't have a cultural touchstone in,
Mm-hmm.
you really should watch Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. It is funny. It is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope. The last attachment that I was sent by you was last week's show.
It's a line from Harvey Birdman, attorney at law. One of the character's catchphrases is, "Did you get that thing I sent ya?"
I'm completely ignoring that and hunting for the thing. Because unfortunately, I amuse myself by playing as blank as possible to watch other people boil. I try not to do it to you that much, though. I have better targets that are far more fun for me to watch boil.
Because at the point at which I figure out that that is literally what you're doing, I will stop playing along. As soon as I get there, I'm like, Oh, no, 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 no.
Sorry. I do try not to do that to you too often because, yes, you stop playing too soon and it's just more fun to aggravate certain other people that I like a whole lot less.
That's fair. That's fair. All right. Let's
Let's
get through
see.
this because I am
Yeah,
out of assigned pre rolls for today, and I don't want to have to go into pre rolls for tomorrow or Tuesday.
right. All right. So I'll skip on down. Let's see, Promise 3 is defending the borders. Uh, Again, they're fussing about how they want to improve border control and things like that, and how this is socialist and these people don't have anything to do with those people. And my very first thing is reading this. All right, so this section is the Wilsonian hubris has spread like a cancer through many of America's largest corporations, public institutions, and popular culture. Those who run our so-called American corporations have bent to the will of the woke agenda and care more for their foreign investors and organizations than their American workers and customers. Today, nearly every top-tier U.S. university president or Wall Street hedge fund manager has more in common with a socialist European head of state than with parents at a high school football game in Waco, Texas. Many elites' entire identity, it seems, is wrapped up in their sense of superiority over those people. But under our Constitution, they are the mere equals of the workers who shower after work instead of before. My very first thing is, you're talking about leadership. You're talking about getting people to follow you blindly. You do not mention Waco, Texas.
Yeah, yes, there is that.
That's my the first thing I'm reading out of that whole chunk
Like,
is,
why'd you choose Waco of everywhere?
all right, second, I'm like, um, um, last I checked, our CEOs do not have a socialist outlook on things.
No, they're very um
And they're completely ignoring the fact that their chosen personage is supposedly a CEO.
yeah.
So they're painting everybody with the same brush, which means they're painting him and not acknowledging it.
Oh, what they're doing is they're saying the bad ones.
Yeah.
They're they're
And
they're
then
they're trying to other the bad ones while saying, "Oh, but there are the good ones. And those are ours." Uh,
mhm,
you know,
mhm,
and because it's already so far divorced from reality, it's not such a big leap to say, "Oh, all the major ones are them."
mhm.
And then when it comes to like, oh, except for, Fox, but then Fox is always on the edge of becoming one of them, and
Right.
it's a way to keep those people in line, those people. It's a way to keep
Yeah.
those corporations in line through fear of being put in that other category because they're already in a category that has been made
Right.
less, less desirable. It's otherness by degrees.
Mhm. Which then gets that last line, which is, how do you write that kind of a sentence and not walk away covered in slime, knowing you're covered in slime?
They already are. They just are. It's not they both do and don't believe what they're writing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we skip on down the next wonderful sentence I got. They're still talking about borders. They're talking about bringing jobs back, bringing manufacturing back to America, all that stuff. Um, Noting that jobs have been outsourced and manufacturing has been um, financialized. I was like, yeah, they have.
But also, isn't that just the way it's always been?
That's how it's been. That's what you do, kinda. That's what a global economy means, is that
I mean,
if
the jobs being outsourced. Yeah, that's. But that's what the corporations wanted. That's what these, originally, because saving money
mhm,
for them. But the manufacturing economy has been financialized.
yeah,
Like, that's word salad.
yeah, that's word
That
salad.
has no actual meaning.
Uh, and what they're wanting is to bring everything back and keep American interests at home,
Right.
which which is great. So does that
Not,
mean
but no,
that
not just at home. Not just at home, but at home in the right hands.
yeah,
And
that that's
that's what
that's
they
true.
mean by the manufacturing company economy has been financialized. It means that the wrong people
They're making money.
are making stuff.
That too.
You know, uh, the wrong people are being paid for, or there are more progressive, the more progressive people in the manufacturing industry are the wrong people, is what they're trying to say.
Yeah, which I get to that one, but if you're dead set on bringing all that stuff back to the U.S. and quote unquote you're bringing more jobs and you're doing all that other stuff, does that mean that the people engaged with this are planning on giving up all of their assets that they have outside the U.S.?
No, of course not, because they should. We should also be bringing in the money from outside the U.S. See, they don't just want to bring all of this stuff back home. They also want to bring wealth from outside the U.S. into the U.S.
Um,
Also,
you
this
know,
is a case of, uh,
do as I say and not as I do.
right, basically.
Um, let's see. There's more fussing about how China runs their own things and other countries are running their own things and wanting the US to, you know,
Play
being
ball.
upset over the fact that the US has not stepped in and said you can't treat your people that way, you can't make that law, you can't make that rule, while at the same time saying, well, we need to take care of our people first.
Right.
Pick a lane, please.
We're still supposed to be the policemen of the world, but we need to do it without committing to extended wars. Other people need to behave correctly so that we don't have to come over there and smack them around quickly. And it's sort of like what it is it's a way of saying, you know, the more we spend on military, the more we can leverage the rest of the world to behave like we want them to.
Yeah. So let's see. Going down, we have a wonderful word salad talking about our liberties and saying that it's America is founded on liberties and um, uh, the American Republic was founded on principles prioritizing and maximizing individuals' rights to live their best life or to enjoy what the framers called the blessings of liberty. It's this radical equality, liberty for all, not just of rights but of authority, that the rich and powerful have hated about democracy in America since 1776. They resent Americans' audacity in insisting that we don't need them to tell us how to live. It's this inalienable right of self direction, of each person's opportunity to direct themselves and their community for the for good, that the ruling class disdains. Inalienable right of self direction. Gee, Didn't we just have one of those big inalienable rights taken away the other day? Well, the other month.
What this is this is when somebody who is a practiced manipulator
Mm-hmm.
will 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 say will accuse you of doing what they're doing and say, yeah, see, this is happening. This is happening. You must be doing it
Mm-hmm.
because this is happening. And so it's your fault that this is happening. And, and we won't let you do this. Keep doing this. So stop doing this. But all the while it's sort of like the why are you hitting yourself
Mm-hmm.
taken to a more detailed extreme.
Yes. Yes.
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Why are you hitting yourself?
So then it goes through various countries and picking apart how they're absolutely terrible for what they do, um, and pointing out that in every case, socialist elites promised that if only they could direct the economy, everything would be better. Wait a minute. Didn't we just hear that?
Right?
Wasn't wasn't that like the main goal of someone like 8 years ago?
See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. This is that gaslighting. This is that, like,
Yeah.
this is the. This is the accusing the other party of doing what you're doing.
Yes. So
And
in
and this is
yeah,
in this document what it's doing is it's giving their people the
the
um
script.
yeah, the
It's
script.
giving them the script.
It's giving them the script, it's giving them the foundations, the basics. It's giving them all of the stuff that they need to do that. Huh.
Um, I will say this: reading this reminds me of the year and a half that I spent studying with a certain religious group that comes around knocking on your doors every so often, and
Not on my door.
how much they really disliked when we got to the end and they thought they had me roped in. And I started asking questions about why this, why that. But the the book says this, so why are you teaching me this other thing and saying it doesn't matter?
Right.
Really didn't like that. And between that and my goat eating the front page of their Bible, they didn't come back. He was a good goat. Um,
They don't come around here. They tried once or twice early on, and I was very polite, and I said, this is you are wasting your time here. I know that on an individual level you are trying to spread good feelings, but
mm-hmm,
that's you are wasting your time here. This is we are not like that,
yeah,
you know. Go
I
bless somebody else with your time.
yeah,
And I
I honestly
think
want to know
they
what the
might
differences were.
have come back one or two times when I wasn't here, but the captain was.
Uh,
And he's a lot less um politic in
mm-hmm,
his ways of communicating.
mm-hmm. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Stabby. The man is stabby. That is one of the adjectives I use to describe his mental state. He's
That makes
stabby.
sense.
People make him feel stabby. And
Mm-hmm.
being that he is pagan, not the same type of pagan I am, but he is of a more violent pagan tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Those people did
Mm.
not. I think they dealt with him maybe twice, and they were like, "Nope, nope,
Yeah,
we're
potentially.
we're not gonna lose any members of our church. Like, nope, this is not a safe place to send them." I'm assuming that any that showed up also left the property.
Yeah.
I have
Far
not,
as you know,
as far as I know, if
far as you
any,
know, we'll leave it there.
if anything happened, it happened without my knowledge.
Mm-hmm. All right, we're almost there. All right,
Okay,
so
good,
uh,
because I need a
so
cigarette.
let's see, kvetching about other people and how they do their things while demanding they do them our way. Uh, there's a reason why the private economy hews to the maxim the customer is always right, while government bureaucracies are notoriously user unfriendly. Which I wish to note here, the customer is always right is a shortened and misused axiom.
Right? And no, the customer is not always right. The customer is never really right.
The actual saying is the customer is always right in matters of taste.
Hmm.
And it's the social elite and everything else that they were talking about that have changed that because they wanted to be right. Let's see, best effort and dum dum dum.
Yes, they are. Dum dum dum.
Yeah,
All right. That looks like
the yep.
we made
That's
it
that's the
through.
last of the highlighted things here, so we could pick up somewhere else. I will say this: as much as I have dislike, disdain, and all the other things for the people to put this together, they at least put freaking footnotes.
Yeah, there is that. They may be evil, but they're not that evil. Um,
I mean, basically, yeah, that's kind of the top thing. So we've made it to that.
Now, again, like this is a handbook for how to uh, create a more conservative society, a to turn the United States from being a open and free democracy into a Christian nationalist uh, nation, a Christian nation.
It's gaslighting and
Yep.
homogenization for fun and profit.
Yes, it
That's what the
is.
title of the book should be.
Yes. Gaslighting and homogenization for fun and profit. It is. It is upsetting that there is even possibly a 50% chance that this could come to be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, from where we sit now, there's honestly, I think no way of knowing how this is going to play out, how this election is going to go. People are trying to predict, they're trying to have. I really do think that this one is a 50-50 shot, you know? And I think that's why every vote counts.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think if Biden dropped out and gave it to somebody younger, it wouldn't be as close. I think that it would be. I think the odds would be better in our favor. We're an ad
Mm-hmm.
break. I say our favor, which means that I am linking myself with the left and Democrats and progressives, even though, yeah, there are a lot of people that fall under this umbrella that I,
That you're not fans of.
yeah,
It's essentially a case of picking the lesser of two evils that you think will actually do the most for the greater good.
yes.
And in this
And
case,
as they say, war and politics make for strange bedfellows.
mm, well, I mean, you could always go in a competition with my brother and try taking over Canada's prime ministership.
Yeah, but see, Prime Minister of Canada doesn't have the same power as the President of the United States.
This is true. He still has plans of taking over the world from Canada once he becomes prime minister.
I do not want to take over the world. I want other people to stop being idiots.
Hmm.
They should not be mutually exclusive desires.
No, they
Or
shouldn't.
mutually inclusive, I mean. I shouldn't have to take over the world to make other people stop being idiots.
This is very true.
Look what you're making me do, stupid people. You're gonna make me take over the world so that I can clean up your mess.
Pretty much.
Do you want supervillains? This is how you get supervillains.
I'll be honest. There's a lot of supervillains that no redemption arc and this and that and they're a lovey-dovey. No, they're a bad guy. They get to be a bad guy. It's okay for them to be a bad guy. But the one that's like, I needed to take over the whole company and the entire city because they were just letting it all go down in flames and nobody was surviving and I had to stop it in order to make everybody live longer. Like that's the one that has my sympathy.
Who was that?
Um,
Are you referring to one specifically, or are you
the general trope of that.
the general archetype?
Yeah, that's the supervillain that I'm going to have more sympathy with than your kingpin. Well, not even kingpin. Because there are some things in which
Killmonger was my guy.
mm,
Killmonger, it was like the they made Killmonger do heinous things because all of his politics were like kind of actually on point.
Hmm.
Like they had to prove how evil he was because he won wrong.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. They, yeah. Like, I felt conflicted. It was a great, Black Panther was a great movie.
Hmm.
And it was just like, but why I gotta agree with everything the bad guy says? Like, can't
Yeah.
can't you give me a bad guy that I like can validly hate?
Hydra. Hydra's bad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes, and that was cool. That was nice. But no, that bit just that one thing in Black Panther. It's like I. But then they're also like, I've dug into it, and I don't think that Darth Vader's a villain.
They said that he was going to balance things out. Unfortunately, when you're starting off with a balance of
With an imbalance of
an imbalance of a
Jedi.
gazillion Jedi on one side and like five Sith on the other, the only real way to fix that balance is the subtraction.
Yep. Because you really don't end up with many Sith, no matter how many Sith you try to have.
Right. So if you're
But
balancing things, you do subtraction, and he did subtraction in a
he,
really, really nasty way, but it was still subtraction.
but also, but also, the Jedi were not good people. They kidnapped babies and brainwashed them. They lied all the time. They had a small passing acquaintance with the truth.
Yes.
They constantly dealt in absolutes.
And got really, really upset when the students challenged an absolute or presented a different absolute in
When
the
any
orientation.
students challenged them, or any, and remember, they also didn't stand behind Ahsoka when she was framed.
No,
Uh,
but she challenged things. Why are we going to stand behind one that's challenging things?
right?
We give her
Also,
the troublemaker.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Also, they were all about states' rights. They were complicit with states' rights.
There's a reason the people of Mandalore made stuff specifically to combat them.
There's also yeah, right. There's also a reason why so many Twi'leks ended up how they are.
Mm-hmm.
Is because somebody was like, "Oh, these systems have the right to do whatever they want. We're not going to infringe on their right to enforced labor." And that is the main thing about Vader. Like that's the thing where he really won me over, is cuz he's like so anti-slavery.
Mm-hmm.
Granted,
Well,
very pro wage slavery,
right.
but still, like,
Well, how did he grow up?
right, exactly. Exactly. But yeah. And I mean, ultimately, I do agree with a large centralized government. I think a large centralized government, high taxes, unfortunately, but high corporate taxes
Yes.
over high personal taxes. Um, but a
I mean, unless your
large,
personal income is like 2 billion a year, in which case you can
well,
have the high personal tax too.
I also believe in taxes like capital gains tax and inheritance tax.
Hmm.
You know, even though even though technically capital gains, I mean, like, I have some investments, so I do have some capital gains that would then be taxed. But
Hmm.
F it, tax it, you know. But yeah, like,
There is a difference between you and I paying. Let's go to the round number: 10% in taxes every year,
I pay 30.
and it being 10% of our annual salary a year goes to taxes for federal and state. And someone sitting there saying, I paid 200 million in taxes last year, but when you actually look at it, they paid like 2% of their
Right,
annual income.
right,
There's a difference. If the difference between my 10% and your 2% is that much, you need to come up off of the other 8% at the very least.
right. And I mean, it's also not like like I said, I pay about 30%.
Hmm.
I pay about 30% of my income in taxes, and I think that that's fair. And I think 30% is fair for individuals, unless you're making less than me. Then you should be paying a smaller percentage, of course. Um, but I think if anybody making more than me, 30% is a pretty fair, you know. And I think corporations should have to pay much higher taxes because they're having a much higher impact.
Hmm.
And I think that's really what taxes are about, is paying for your impact on all the systems.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
But getting the ones that have it to come up from the 2 or 3% to match your 30 is going to have them screaming bloody murder.
Yeah. Yeah. It will. It will, but that shouldn't matter because, you know,
And if we got that, then we could put things in place to handle some of the different things that people keep fussing about that aren't solvable, like healthcare.
right. There would be all the money in the world for healthcare. There would be all the money in the world for the public infrastructures, for the roads, for the, for the bridges and the tunnels, for the public works, for education.
For
There'd be
actual
right,
education.
there would be, and you really wouldn't have to take money away from defense.
No,
As much as I don't feel like it needs as much as it gets, for those people who are like, you know, we need big strong guns to defend us from the outsiders. It's like, okay, there you go. There you go. You get to keep your
go,
funding. But
go.
also, having the money to do all of this work on the inside, And I'm guessing there'd be money left over to do work on foreign policy. There'd be money to do work on fixing the problems we've created in other places that are causing immigration to seem like such a big problem, even though it really actually isn't a problem. It's something that is we need it. We need the immigration. We need them coming in. We really do. You
Mm-hmm.
nimby namby pambies need to get up off it and understand that we need people coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We need to restructure how we work this country I mean in an industrial sense. We need to restructure, which is probably going to require more labor. And that labor is going to generate more income, more money in the country. It will strengthen our economic position in the world. That that income will generate taxes. That
I mean,
income will run our country. Will continue to keep our country running. Those people are not coming in to bring their problems with them. They're coming here to get away from problems that we've created.
mm,
And, 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 and even if they weren't running away from problems, we still need their help to run our economy. We still need to continue to let them in and help us.
mm-hmm.
It will strengthen our economy. It will strengthen our society. It will strengthen every aspect of America if we just do away with illegal immigration by legalizing immigration.
Mm,
The number of resources alone we will save, much less gain. But that is not how these people on the other side of the idea, that's not how they want to see this. They want to paint this picture of the dire consequences of being open
mm-hmm.
because it maintains their power structure.
Yeah.
The status quo, where their power structure keeps them in charge, keeps them making money and benefiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
This is. I'm working my way through the background
Mm-hmm.
of of racism in the medical field and the concepts, a lot of the concepts really are uh, intersect with what is being said here in this
Mm-hmm.
Project 2025 manifesto. And it is, um, I feel like, I feel like the authors of the books and the I feel like the people on our side are being exceptionally coy at times, most of the time, and in the name of fairness, there's a lot of not calling out exactly what they're seeing. And while I respect them for trying to maintain their integrity as they've defined it, which really is maintaining integrity. You know, if you say this is how you maintain integrity, then that's your integrity. Um, but I feel like it also leads to a lack of calling out the problems where they are. Instead, saying, "No, no, let's look at it. Let's." And this is that problem with liberals. The problem with liberals that Malcolm X spoke on, and sort of this problem with neoliberalism, and it's
Mm-hmm.
I'm not I'm trying to not fall into the trap of coyness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to not fall into the trap of not naming the problems that I see, because I think that the time where coyness could have been a useful tool has long since passed,
Oh yes.
because the other side is not, has not, and never was going to engage uh in good faith debate.
Mm-hmm.
This has never been a good faith debate or gentlemanly argument or whatever you want to call it sort of situation.
Yeah.
This has always been an own the liberals sort of thing.
We haven't had
Well,
a gentlemanly debate in ages.
yes, we haven't. Oh, we are in ad break. Oh well. Well, when we come back from ad break, we'll give our sign off and say see you till next time.
Okay.
Um, shut that down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Ah, we are back. We're back from commercial. Well, this has been an emotional plummet.
Mm.
Um, I'm. We're gonna work our way through this Project 2025. Uh, I guess my takeaway, the thing I want you to take y'all to take away from this is we're not safe. You need to vote. We need to vote against Trump. We're not safe to not vote just because Biden is odious.
Mm-hmm.
We're not safe to vote third party just because Biden is odious. We need a consolidated and concerted vote against Trump in order for all of us to remain safe. I do not feel good saying this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel gross. But if I if it isn't said now and a lot, I fear complacency will overtake us as did in 2016
Mm-hmm.
and thus will begin a 2,000-year reign of terror and darkness that shall spread across the land like a blight, killing everything that is beautiful and destroying all we hold dear. So, now is the time on the show when I say, around here that we say, two up, two down, VA, double deuces. We're out, y'all.
Mm-hmm.